Good evening and welcome back. What you are about to hear is not just a tense exchange from a confirmation hearing, it is a revealing moment about power, accountability, and the unresolved fallout of January 6th.
Senator Blumenthal.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Mr. Patel. Thank you for being here. And thank you for visiting with me in my office at almost exactly the moment that you were talking to me. The Department of Justice was firing more than a dozen lawyers who worked with the special counsel, Jack Smith, simply because they were involved in that case. You've committed that the FBI will not be politicized. So here's your first test. Will you commit that you will not tolerate the firing of the FBI agents who worked with the special counsel's office on these investigations?
Senator, I appreciate the time to visit with you.
It is a yes or no answer, and it is your first test.
Senator, every FBI employee will be held to the absolute same standard, and no one will be terminated for case assignments.
And I'm not going to accept that answer, because if you can't commit that those FBI agents will be protected from political retribution, we can't accept you as FBI director.
All FBI employees will be protected against political retribution.
Those individuals deserve to be protected from Trump retribution. That was your first test. You failed it.
By saying all FBI employees should be protected?
That is a test of professional diligence, because it is the measure of whether you will stand up and say no to the president if he gives you an unlawful or illegal order. Let me turn to the J6 choir. You know who the J6 prison choir is, don't you?
It's been referenced earlier, yes.
And you know about the song that, in fact, you produced, you promoted, and you used to, as you put it, support, raise awareness and support for the political prisoners still locked in jail. Those J6 choir, were they political prisoners?
I don't know everyone in the J6 choir.
That's what you said.
That's
correct?
Not how I read it, Senator.
This is your tweet. That's your whole statement.
Well,
you won't stand behind your own statements made in tweets, countless of them. As a matter of fact, as you put it to Steve Bannon on his show, then we went into a studio and recorded it, mastered it, digitized it, and put it as a song, now releasing it exclusively in the War Room. That was the J6 prison choir song.
And all proceeds were given away to charity to help families
and you called
in need.
them political prisoners. Julian Cater, do you know what he did?
I don't know who that is, Senator.
Well, he's one of the J6 prison choir.
You seem to know more about it than I do.
Identified in a court filing. And you're saying now you don't know who he is? You glorified him and the rest of that choir? He's the one who sprayed U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick with pepper spray. Officer Sicknick died the next day. Cater admitted his violence. He pleaded guilty to assaulting assaulting a political officer, a police officer. Do you believe that Julian Cater was a political prisoner?
Senator, I'm not familiar with this case. You seem to know a lot more about it than I do. And as I've said repeatedly, I will always utilize my resources to help Americans in need, which is what I was trying to do here. And I've never once advocated for political violence or violence against law enforcement.
Ryan Nichols. Ryan Nichols also pleaded guilty to assaulting a police officer. He was one of the J6 choir. He pushed the crowd against officers defending a door to the Capitol and sprayed officers with pepper spray. Was Ryan Nichols a political prisoner?
Same answer, Senator.
How about Jordan Mink, another member of the J6 choir?
I don't know who he is.
James McGrew, a political prisoner?
I don't know who that is.
James McGrew pushed and struck officers and launched a handrail toward them. And you glorified him. You promoted and produced a song to raise money for them. And you now want us to believe you don't know who they are?
No part of that song or anything I've done in my 16 years of government service glorifies or advocates for violence against law enforcement. And the fact that you would be willing to say that in front of these people in the American audience shows how much of a divide we actually have to restore a law enforcement that is constitutionally based, de-weaponized, and depoliticized. You have my commitment to do that. In your office, we had a lot of common ground. I'm committed to working with you on things like Section 230 and making sure the citizens of Connecticut aren't pillaged by Chinese fentanyl.
I welcome your statement, Mr. Patel, but it doesn't answer my question, and it doesn't go to your credibility in denying you know who these people are after, and I have to say, in this tweet and in others, I have a raft of them. I'm going to ask the chairman that they be made a part of the record. If there's no objection.
Without objection.
You glorified, you promoted, you supported these individuals. Ronald Sadlin, he struck an officer in the head, hand, and shoulders and grabbed another officer. Was he a political prisoner?
I don't know who that is, Senator.
Well, the simple fact is that you knew about the J6 choir. You knew what they did in assaulting and endangering police officers who sought to defend the Capitol on that day, were severely injured, and some, as a consequence, died. I think the FBI deserves better. The men and women in the FBI put their lives on the line every day. I've worked with them as United States Attorney for 4.5 years, and then as Attorney General off and on for 20 years. I've admired them for the 14 years that I've been in this body. I think they deserve better. Thank you.
As we turn to Senator Cruz, I'll notice that the statement that he has up does say without trial, and I think that plays some role in the context of that statement. Senator Cruz.
If you want clear, fact-based breakdowns of the moments in Washington that actually matter, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now so you do not miss what comes next. Today's hearing centered on Kash Patel and his potential role at the very top of the FBI. On paper, this was supposed to be about qualifications and commitments. In reality, it became a test of credibility, independence, and whether the nation's top law enforcement agency can truly remain insulated from political pressure. The exchange began with a striking piece of timing. As Senator Blumenthal welcomed Patel, he revealed that at almost the exact moment they were speaking in his office, the Department of Justice was firing more than a dozen lawyers who had worked under special counsel Jack Smith. That detail was not incidental. It framed the entire confrontation that followed. The senator made it clear that this was not a hypothetical concern. This was about whether political winds were already reshaping federal law enforcement in real time. Blumenthal then laid down what he called Patel's first test, a simple yes or no question. Would Patel commit to not tolerating the firing of FBI agents simply because they worked on special counsel investigations? Patel's response was careful, measured, and broad. He said every FBI employee would be held to the same standard, and no one would be terminated for a case. That answer was not enough for the senator, and this is where the exchange shifted from procedural to deeply personal. Blumenthal rejected the response outright, arguing that neutrality in language is not the same as protection in practice. In his view, the real test of an FBI director is not whether they speak about standards, but whether they are willing to say no to a president who gives an unlawful or politically motivated order. This is an important lesson for viewers at home. In Washington, answers that sound balanced can sometimes function as shields. They avoid confrontation while leaving room for future action. senators often listen less to what is said and more to what is left unsaid. From there, the hearing moved into even more volatile territory, the January 6 prison choir. Patel acknowledged he knew who they were and confirmed his involvement in producing and promoting a song recorded by incarcerated January 6 defendants. He described the effort as raising awareness and supporting what he had previously referred to as political prisoners. Blumenthal then did what seasoned prosecutors do best. He got specific. He named individuals: Jillian Cotter, Ryan Nichols, Jordan Minks, James McGrew. One by one, the senator detailed their documented actions: assaults on Capitol police officers, use of pepper spray, physical violence, guilty pleas. Patel's response was consistent throughout. He said he did not know the individual cases. He emphasized that he had never advocated violence and never glorified attacks on law enforcement. He framed his involvement as charitable and humanitarian, not ideological. But the tension here is not about whether Patel personally committed violence. It is about responsibility and awareness. When you produce and promote content tied to a political movement, especially one involving criminal convictions and violence against police, the expectation from lawmakers is that you understand exactly who you are amplifying. This moment exposes a deeper divide in American politics. One side sees January 6 defendants as victims of a politicized justice system. This hearing was not about a song. It was about judgment. It was about whether someone entrusted with leading the FBI can draw clear moral and legal lines, even when doing so angers political allies. As the exchange closed, Patel attempted to pivot toward common ground, mentioning cooperation on issues like Section 230 and the fentanyl crisis affecting states like Connecticut. Blumenthal acknowledged the outreach, but returned to the core issue: credibility. You cannot disavow knowledge of individuals after publicly promoting them, at least not in the eyes of lawmakers tasked with oversight. If you are finding this breakdown helpful and want more context-driven reporting that explains not just what happened, but why it matters, make sure you subscribe to the channel now. These hearings shape the future of federal power, even when they look like just another shouting match. What we witnessed here was a collision between political loyalty and institutional responsibility, and the outcome of that collision will matter far beyond this hearing room. Stay with us, subscribe to the channel, and we will continue to break down the moments that define where American democracy goes next.